The Engineer's Legacy. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a kingdom ruled by a wise and just king named Alexander. His rule was peaceful, and his people loved him. However, there was a dark cloud looming over the kingdom. In the neighboring kingdom of Arcturus, there lived a sorceress named Morgana. She was envious of the prosperity and happiness of Alexander's kingdom and plotted to take over his land. She spent many years studying dark magic and finally discovered a powerful spell that would allow her to create an army of creatures that could destroy Alexander's kingdom. Morgana began her attack on the kingdom, and Alexander called upon his bravest warriors to defend their land. The battle lasted for weeks, and the kingdom suffered great losses. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, a young engineer named Lara appeared with a revolutionary invention, a giant robot that she had been working on secretly in her workshop. Lara's robot was unlike anything the kingdom had ever seen. It was a towering figure made of steel and powered by a mysterious energy source. Lara piloted the robot and led the charge against Morgana's army, defeating them with ease. As the kingdom rejoiced in their victory, Alexander asked Lara to explain how she had managed to build such a powerful machine. Lara revealed that she had been inspired by her love for science and engineering and her desire to make a difference in the world. Alexander was impressed by Lara's ingenuity and invited her to join his court as his chief engineer. Under Lara's guidance, the kingdom flourished even more than before. She continued to invent new technologies that improved the lives of the people, and her giant robot became a symbol of hope and strength for the kingdom. However, Morgana was not defeated yet. She returned with an even more powerful army, and this time her creatures were led by a giant dragon. Alexander and Lara knew that they had to come up with something extraordinary to defeat Morgana's dragon. Lara went back to her workshop and worked tirelessly for days. Finally, she emerged with a new invention, a suit of armor that could withstand the dragon's fire breath. Alexander donned the armor and, with Lara's help, flew up to meet the dragon in the sky. In a fierce battle, Alexander defeated the dragon and saved his kingdom once again. Alexander declared that Lara would be his successor, and she became the queen of the kingdom. Under her leadership, the kingdom entered a new era of prosperity and innovation, and Lara's inventions continued to inspire generations of engineers and scientists for centuries to come. And so, the legend of Lara the Engineer and her giant robot and dragon-slaying armor lived on, reminding people that with determination and ingenuity, anything is possible. As Queen Lara ruled over the kingdom, she continued to innovate and create new technologies that improved the lives of her people. She encouraged other engineers and inventors to share their ideas and collaborate on new projects, and together they built a society that was more advanced and prosperous than any that had come before it. However, even with all of her accomplishments, Lara could never forget the threat that had nearly destroyed her kingdom. She knew that Morgana was still out there, biding her time and waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike again. Lara spent years developing new weapons and defenses, always one step ahead of Morgana's schemes. She built a network of spies and informants and worked tirelessly to root out any hint of treachery or rebellion in her kingdom. As she grew older, Lara began to worry about who would take her place as ruler of the kingdom. She had no children of her own, and she knew that she could not simply leave the kingdom to chance. In secret, Lara began to search for a successor. She scoured the kingdom for the most talented and intelligent engineers and inventors, seeking someone who could continue her legacy of innovation and strength. One day, she came across a young engineer named Max. Max was brilliant, with a mind for engineering that surpassed even Lara's own. She saw in him the same determination and creativity that had driven her own success, and she knew that he was the one she had been looking for. Over the years, Lara took Max under her wing, teaching him everything she knew about engineering and leadership. Max learned quickly, and soon he was building machines and devices that even Lara had never dreamed of. As Lara grew older and weaker, Max began to take on more and more of the responsibilities of ruling the kingdom. He was kind and just, and the people loved him as much as they had loved Lara. When Lara finally passed away, Max was ready to take her place as ruler of the kingdom. He continued her legacy of innovation and strength, and the kingdom continued to thrive under his rule. As the years went by, the legend of Lara and Max became a source of inspiration for engineers and inventors throughout the land. They were remembered as the greatest engineers in the history of the kingdom, and their inventions continued to shape the world for generations to come. However, even with Lara and Max's impressive technological advancements and their legacy of innovation, there were still those who harbored feelings of envy and malice towards their kingdom. It wasn't long before a new threat emerged, one that would test the limits of their engineering prowess. A group of rogue inventors, calling themselves the Engineers of Destruction, had banded together with the sole purpose of bringing down the kingdom. They were fueled by a deep resentment towards Lara and Max, and they believed that their own inventions were far superior to anything the kingdom had produced. The Engineers of Destruction began a campaign of terror, attacking the kingdom's infrastructure and sabotaging their machines. Their attacks were swift and brutal, and they left a trail of destruction in their wake. Max knew that he had to act fast to stop them. He summoned the kingdom's greatest engineers and inventors and tasked them with developing a new defense system that could withstand even the most powerful attacks. The engineers worked tirelessly, day and night, fueled by a sense of urgency and the knowledge that their kingdom's survival was at stake. They created new technologies that were faster, stronger, and more resilient than anything they had built before. Finally, after months of intense work, the engineers presented their latest invention to Max. It was a massive robotic defense system, built to withstand even the most powerful attacks from the Engineers of Destruction. Max piloted the robot himself, leading it into battle against his enemies. The fight was long and grueling, but in the end, the kingdom emerged victorious. With the defeat of the Engineers of Destruction, Max's legacy was secured. He was remembered as a hero, a brilliant engineer and inventor who had saved his kingdom from destruction. Years later, a statue was erected in Max's honor, and his legacy continued to inspire new generations of engineers and inventors. The kingdom thrived under his rule, with new technologies and innovations constantly being developed to improve the lives of the people. And so, the kingdom that had once been threatened by dark magic and a sorceress had emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before, thanks to the ingenuity and determination of its greatest engineers and leaders. As the years went by, the kingdom prospered under Max's wise and just rule. He continued to encourage innovation and creativity among his people, and the kingdom remained at the forefront of technological advancements. Max lived a long and fulfilling life, passing away peacefully in his sleep, surrounded by his loved ones. He was mourned by the entire kingdom, but his legacy lived on, inspiring new generations of engineers and inventors to push the boundaries of what was possible. Under the leadership of Max's chosen successor, the kingdom continued to thrive, and its people enjoyed a level of prosperity and advancement that had once seemed impossible. And so, the story of Queen Lara and King Max, the greatest engineers and inventors in the history of the kingdom, came to a happy ending. Their legacy of innovation and strength had changed the course of history, and their names would forever be remembered as the embodiment of engineering excellence and visionary leadership. That's it for this story. I hope you had as much fun listening to it as I did creating it. If you liked the story and want to see more content like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story.